Shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. I am Servant Ariel, and I want to say peace and salutations to everyone out there bringing out this truth with sincerity. And I'm going to do this lesson titled, My People Are Sottish Children. And I'm going to start with Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22, and it reads, For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So, that sottish just means stupid. And a lot of our people, they're acting this way because they don't want to listen to what the Lord is saying in the Bible. Through these precepts, we get understanding. So we should hate every false way. And I want to say shalom to everyone that's tuning in the chat and anyone that jumps on to listen to this lesson. Shalom. Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai Barakatam. Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 13. And it reads, For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. So what they're doing, they're forsaking Yahweh Shai and his father, Yahweh. Because what they're doing, they're rejecting this living water. And they're being like a broken cistern, like a underground water tank that can hold no water, that has a big crack in it. They hear the words, but they don't retain them. They just go in one ear and out the other. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 6. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 6. And this is red letter. It says, Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. So if you want to get filled, you're going to have to receive this engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. And this is red letter. This is all red letter. And I'm going to read a little more of this. And let me read 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh. So this is why David was saying in Psalms 24, who's going to ascend up to the hill of the Lord? And who's going to ascend up to the holy mountain? He said, those that have clean hands and a pure heart. So that you have to, be able to receive this word. You can't be a sottish child. And let me just bring that out just for clarity. I paraphrased it, but I'm going to get it. Psalms 24. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Or who shall stand in his holy place? Verse 4. He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. So he's saying the ones that have a pure heart, because that's what he was saying in Matthew 5. He said, Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh. And have not lifted up their soul to vanity. They don't get involved in all this carnal things that the Lord hates. Vanity and things where there is no profit. And then the ones that tell the truth. He doesn't want you swearing deceitfully. He wants you to always speak the truth, because Yahweh Shai, he spoke the truth. There was no guile in a Mashiach Yahweh Shai's mouth. He told nothing but the truth. Psalms 23. Psalms 23, verse 1 and 2, and it reads, The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Verse 2, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. So this is who's going to give you that living water, is Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. This is why David was saying that. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He gives you that living water. That's why, he said that in Matthew. That's why I went there to Matthew 5. Let me just jump back there. Matthew 5 and 6. And it says, Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Because this is who's going to fill you. This is who's going to fill you your cup and let your cup run over. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 4 and 6. Deuteronomy 32, verse 4 and 6. And it reads, He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. So he's about truth. This is Yahweh was about the truth. So his son was the son was following after his father. Yahweh, he was just like he always told the Pharisees and the elders and the scribes. He says, everything I'm saying is what my father told me to say. He was doing everything in obedience to Yahweh. So this is why it says he is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity. No sin stacked on top of sin. Just and right is he. Verse 5. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Now he's talking about Yasharallah. This is because the law, statutes, and commandments was given to our people, but they rejected it. So he's talking to us. Well, we know the other nations, they don't follow anything he says, but they're just being wicked, the wicked on the earth. But he's addressing our people. This is who Moses was addressing this to. Verse 6, do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? He's the one that made us. And he's the one that established us. And I'm just going to go to Psalms 100 to prove that. Psalms 100, just to prove how he's the one that made us. Let me go there real quick. Psalms 100. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Verse 3, here's the point. Know ye that the Lord, he is Yahweh. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. So this is why Moses was saying, he was going back to, David was quoting this. He was just reminding us that it's the Lord that made us. Let me go back to Deuteronomy. Now that we have the clarity, Deuteronomy 32, I'm just going to revisit it. Verse 4, I'm just going to go to verse 6, actually. Deuteronomy 32, verse 6. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? It was he's the one that made us. And how have we been bought? We've been bought with a price. The price was what Hamashiach Yahushua did by putting up his body as a sacrificial lamb. That was the price that he paid for us. Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. And it reads, Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Saying the same thing that Moses was saying in Deuteronomy. He's brought up Yasharallah, and he said they've rebelled against him. Verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. They don't even consider that they're the people of God. They don't like even hearing it, some of our people. Start telling them they're an Israelite, they're the chosen people, and they get offended. Verse 4. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity. They do sin on top of sins. A seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. So that goes, now Isaiah was saying what Jeremiah the prophet says. They went backwards and not forward. This is what they continue to do. They go backwards because they don't want to listen to what the Lord is saying. Jeremiah 7, verse 23. Jeremiah 7, verse 23 to 24. And it reads, but this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God Yahweh, and you shall be my people, and walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. So that if our people do the things that are pleasing in his sight, it's going to be well for them. And verse 24, but they hearken not, nor incline their ears, but walked in the counsels and the imaginations of their evil heart, and went backwards and not forward. This is what they did. They went backwards. Just like Isaiah the prophet was saying the same thing. They went backwards and not forward. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5 through 6. Isaiah 1, verse 5 through 6, and it reads, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. So he's saying the whole nation has been doing it. Verse 6, from the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment, because they haven't been healed, because they have to come to Hamashiach Yahushai so that he can heal them. But if every time they're rejecting the word, they can't be healed. There's no way for him to heal them because they won't come to him. Luke chapter 5. Luke chapter 5, verse 31 through 32. Luke chapter 5, verse 31 through 32, and it reads, and Yahushua answering and said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. See, a lot of our people, that's what Isaiah the prophet was saying in there, how there's no soundness in them. You know, they're wounded, and they got sores and all these different things. Verse 32, I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So this is who he's calling, the sinners, because the ones that are well, he said they have no need of a physician, but the sick do. The ones that are in sin, that's the ones that need this word, and they need to return to their Lord and Governor. Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12 through 13, and it reads, for it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. So it's not ointment, it's not herbs. He said it's not the mollifying of the plaster that's going to heal them, but he said it's the word. This word is going to heal all things, but they don't want to receive the engrafted word, which is able to save their soul. So that's why I titled this, My People Are Sottish Children, because they're being silly and stupid because they don't want to be healed. They don't want the medicine, which is Hamashiach Yahushai. This word will heal them. Verse 13, for thou hast power of life and death. Thou leadest to the gate of hell. Salakia. Thou leadest to the gates of hell and bringest up again. He's the one that put our people in this hell state, and he's the one that's going to bring us up out of it. So we're going to have to return to him to get healed. Matthew chapter 13, verse 10 through 15. Matthew chapter 13, verse 10 through 15. And it reads, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Verse 11, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Verse 12, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath. So if people are trying to hold on to all these carnal things, they're going to lose it. You know, that's why he's saying this. You know, you got to give up some things so that you can obtain the kingdom. You got to give up all these carnal things and all the things that you're looking at with the lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life. You got to stop looking at everything that way and start looking at it spiritually. Verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand. Because they're being sottish. That's why they're not understanding. It's like they're dull of hearing. Verse 14, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing you shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and shall not perceive. They just don't get it. It like goes in one ear and out the other, or they just seeing things with their eyes, but they're still not getting no understanding. They can't understand what they're seeing. Verse 15, Salakia. For this people's heart is wax gross. It's like their ears are their minds is like they can't understand with their mind, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their ears are like stopped up full of wax. Like they just can't hear a thing. And their eyes they have closed, and like they can't see. They have no clarity, no understanding. They can't see. And their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. This is all red letter too. This is Yahushua saying how if they just would sit back and receive the engrafted word, which is able to save their soul, I would heal them. But they don't want it. A lot of them reject it. Remember, he came into his own, and his own rejected him. That's what it says in John chapter 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 14, and it reads, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event happeneth to them all. So Solomon is making it clear. The wise man's eyes is in his head, and the fool walketh in darkness. And I perceived that one of these events happeneth to them all. You've either been wise or you've been a fool. Like that old song, everybody plays a fool. So everyone's been in sin. We've all sinned and come short of the glory, but you shouldn't continue doing those things. You have to grow up sooner or later and stop playing the fool. Psalms 14, verse 1 and 2. Psalms chapter 14, verse 1 and 2, and it reads, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God Yahweh. See, remember the last one? He said the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. Because anyone, remember John 8 and 12 has to come in now. He said, Yahushua was speaking. He said, I am the light of the world. Anyone that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So now let's go back to Psalms 14:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God Yahweh. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek Yahweh. So he's up on the throne, Yahweh, and then Yahushua is on the right hand, and they're looking down and they're looking down, and the angels, and they're seeing if anybody here down here understands and will seek him. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 20 and 22. Deuteronomy 32, verse 20 and 22. And it reads, and he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. So the Lord he's hid his face from us for a long time. But now he's starting to look at us, the ones that are listening and coming back to who they are, knowing that they have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Now he's starting to listen. Verse 21, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Yahweh. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So now he's saying, now he's put all these other heathens on top of us. Now it's making us jealous. and making us angry because we were never supposed to be underneath them. We were supposed to be on top from the beginning and from the foundation of the world. That's what he's saying here. Job chapter 5. Job chapter 5, verse 3 through 5, and it reads, I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. So anybody that's, they may be living okay and deliciously now, and it seems like they're flourishing, but this is the Lord mocking here. Verse 3, let me read it again. He says, I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. Verse 4, his children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. So the Lord is saying they're going to go through it. The ones that are not being obedient. He's going to judge everybody according to their ways and according to the fruit of their doings. Verse 5, whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robbers swallowed up their substance. Because remember Yahushua said in John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So what he's saying in verse 5 of Job, he's going to allow these thieves, these other people, these heathens, to swallow up all his people's substance that continue to be disobedient. That's what he's saying. He's going to let them just eat up all their substance. They're not going to prosper. Psalms 37, verse 1 through 9, and it reads, fret not, and this is David, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. So he said, don't worry about the workers of iniquity, and don't worry about the evildoers. Verse 2, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herbs. Verse 3, trust in the Lord and do good, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Verse 4, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Verse 5, commit thy ways unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. So this is the good news to those that wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he's going to strengthen your heart. Verse 6, and he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Verse 7, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. That's what I mentioned earlier. We got to wait on him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Like, don't worry about what they're doing. Just rest in the Lord. He's going to take care of all the adversaries. Verse 8, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Verse 9, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. So there's the good news. The ones that wait on the Lord, they're going to inherit the earth. Psalms 39, verse 6 through 8. And then I'm going to jump to 12 through 13. Psalms 39, 6 through 8. And it reads, surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches and knoweth not who shall gather them. So this is talking about the ones that don't reverence the Most High. They're prospering right now at this time, but he's going to take it away from them. He says they're doing this in vain. Verse 7, and now, Lord, what wait I for? My hope is in thee. Verse 8, deliver me from all my transgressions. Make me not the reproach of the foolish. So David is pleading with the Lord. He said, don't let me be a reproach to all these foolish people. Now I'm going to jump down to 12 through 13 of Psalms 39. And it reads, hear my prayer, O Lord, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner, as all my fathers were. because we're in a strange land, and we're sojourners, because our homeland is Jerusalem. Remember Galatians 4:26? He said, Jerusalem, which is above, is free. That is the mother of us all. Verse 13. Oh, spare me that I may recover strength before I go hence and be no more. So David is saying, Lord, just spare me while I'm here in the valley of the shadow of death. Spare me and take care of me. Psalms chapter 74 and verse 22 to 23. Psalm 74, verse 22 to 23. And it reads, Arise, O God Yahweh, plead thine own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproached thee daily. So now David is saying, remember how these heathens and how these wicked people and 2/3 of our people are reproaching. They don't listen. They don't have any reverence. They don't want to take heed. They don't want to humble down. And they do this daily, David said. Verse 23, forget not the voice of thine enemies. The tumult of those that rise up against thee increase and continually. He says, don't forget how they're doing all this wickedness and plotting against you, Yahweh. Remember the reproach of your people, the ones that are being obedient, and take care of all the adversaries that hate you. That's what David is saying here. Now I'm going to stay in Psalm 74, and I'm going to jump up to verse 18 to 20. And it reads, remember this, that the enemy hath reproached, O Lord, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name, because they're lying on the anointed Savior, and they're lying on Yahweh himself, and lying on all the prophets. They're lying on them. And now 18, and I'm going to jump to verse 20. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of habitations of cruelty. He said, this place is wicked and cruel. He said, all the people that are in rulership and in power, they're doing things unjustly and wickedly. The whole foundation of the earth is out of course. So he's saying to take care of them. This is what David is saying. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12 through 14, and it reads, hatred stirreth up strife, but love covereth all sins. Verse 13, in the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. So anybody that keeps rebelling and keeps rejecting this word, then now Peter kicks in. He says, now the devil is out there like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, because they have no shield, no hedge of protection. So now anything can happen to them. Verse 14, wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So this is why we have to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. Our people can't continue to be sottish. You know, this is titled, My People Are Sottish Children. They have to wake up, awake to righteousness and sin not. Like Paul said in Corinthians, awake to righteousness and sin not. Now I'm going to close with the book of Psalms 51. Psalms 51, and I'm going to read from 2 to 7, and then I'm going to jump down to 9 through 13, and I'm going to close with this. Psalms, and this is David again, Psalms 51, verse 2 to 7. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity. So David is saying, wash me so I don't continue doing sin on top of sins, and cleanse me from my sin. Verse 3, for I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Like we're under the cloud of witnesses, and you see everything that we're doing. That's what David said. Verse 4, against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. So the Lord is going to always be right when he passes a judgment if our people are being disobedient. It's because he's, remember in Deuteronomy, he's a God, said he's a God he's the rock. His ways is perfect. Just and right is he. So that's what he's always been. And he doesn't change. So if he sends a judgment, it's because our people are in sin. Verse 5. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So we were all born in sin, but we're in this world, but we don't have to be part of it. Like Paul was saying in Philippians, we have to be like the lights and stars shining in amongst a crooked and perverse generation. Verse 6. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward part, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Verse 7. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. So being whiter than snow is doing what the Lord requires, being obedient and doing righteousness. It's not about color. This is about being righteous. And people use white in this society because they want to make people think they're pure. And there's nothing pure about people that go around killing, stealing, and destroying, taking everybody's resources. Verse 8. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Verse 9. Hide thy face from my sins and blot out all mine iniquities. So David wants to be hidden in the day of the Lord, and he wants all his sins to be wiped away and blotted out. And that's what we should all want. Now I'm going to jump down. I'm going to read down to 13. Create in 10 to 13. Create in me a clean heart, O Yahweh, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. So that's something we want to always pray for, that the Lord doesn't take his Holy Spirit away from us. And we want him not to cast, we don't want to be cast away from him, from his presence. Verse 12, restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Verse 13, then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. So we want him, the ones that are being sottish, we want the Most High to restore unto you the joy of his salvation, and then uphold the free spirit in you. Then we will be able to teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted. They shall be changed. And with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. I want to say peace and salutations to everyone that tuned in. And I hope this lesson reaches someone. The Lord has been putting a lot of lessons together in the spirit, and all praises to the Most High for that. And I just want to say to everyone, Tawada and Shalom.